In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up a VPS using this website and also a controller on your computer. This will be Windows 7. So the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to navigate to this address, this URL, and once you're on there, you scroll down and you'll select this option, and then this option, and then this option, now what you need to do is just continue with everything here, just leave it as default, okay, and it's just loading the order now. Okay, you can preview this, but you don't need to do anything, just continue. And then here you'll need to create an account. Okay, so you can create an account and then carry on and just finish it off, put in your details, create the account, and then pay for it. I used PayPal, okay, and I have two. So once you have purchased the VPS, which is $3.49 US, you'll then be sent an email. Now the email will contain the IP address and the username and the password to log in to your server. Okay, so once you receive that, we'll start on the next step. Once you have created your account and purchased your VPS and you have received the email, you will also have access to your account. So you can see here this is all the data, but you don't need to worry about this. All you really need to know is the IP address at this stage of the video. So you can see here that the IP is actually here, so it's under IPv4. Okay, so that's the IP you'll be using, which you would have received in the email as well. So now that we have the IP address, what we need to do is create a new address that we need to send the 10K to. Okay, now as you can see here, I have already done this and I've already set up a VPS Masternode and it is successful. Okay, so the method that I'm going to show you does work. So all I'm going to do is create another instance, another VPS in the same controller wallet. Okay, so then I'll have two. So this is the same process if you were just starting with one. So the first thing you need to do is you need to create an address and you need to get the Masternode gen key for that address. Okay, so the way that you do that is you go to Help, Debug Window, and then Console, and then in here we need to type Masternode space gen key. Now that gives us our gen key for our new Masternode. Now we have to create the address. Okay, so in order to do that, you've got to type get account address and then space and then call it what you want to call it. So in my case, you can see here I have crypto as key VPS 01. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call this crypto is key underscore VPS underscore 02, okay, because it's the second one. All right, and then just click on enter. So here we have the gen key which we need. So I'll just copy that and I'll call this gen key just so we know. Okay, and down here is our address. Okay, so now that we have, we'll just copy this just in case we need it, you never know. So I'll put it down here. Okay, and I'll just call this public address. Public address. Okay, so we can close that. Now, if we come back to receive, you'll see now we have it. Okay, it's been automatically put in here for us, and we actually need this. We need to copy this because this is where we need to send the 10,000 transfer coins to. Okay, and it needs to be exactly 10,000 like I've shown in other videos. So in this next part of the video, that's what we'll do. Okay, so the easiest way to get TX or Transfercoin is on Bittrex. Okay, so you can see I have 10,000 here and just enough for the transaction fee. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the minus sign, and then in here we're going to put our address, okay, which we got from here, remember. So if you didn't do that, right click, copy address, and we just need to put that in here. Okay, so now sometimes it pays to double check just in case, and I always check the first two and the last two letters. You can see that it's SU, SU, TF, TF. Okay, so that looks good. Now the quantity, well, we need exactly 10,000, so make sure that you add enough for the transaction fee, otherwise it won't exactly be 10,000. So if you look down the bottom here, you'll see it is exactly 10,000. Okay, so that's what we need. So then we just click on withdraw, and I've got 2FA on this, so let me just grab the code here, and it's 752914. Okay, and withdraw. Okay, so that's been submitted. So in this next part of the video, we'll have a look back in the wallet and then go from there. Okay, you'll see that it's coming very fast actually this time. It was almost instant. Okay, so now if we come up here, you can see that it's unconfirmed. Okay, so you need at least 10 confirmations before you continue. So I'll pause the video and I'll come back once it's got 10. Okay, so while this is still confirming, there is one more thing that we need to add when we create this actual masternode, the configuration file, and that is you need the port. Okay, so now if you don't have the port open already, or you don't know how to do that, I'm going to quickly show you that. So on my particular computer, I have a modem that's with Adress. Okay, so now to get your modem, you'll need to get your internal IP. That's normally how you open the browser, so you just open it up in a browser. So when you signed up with your provider, they would have given you a username and a password, or you would have made one. And to get this, you can either just Google, find the model number, the name on your router or your modem, and then just Google it, and it will actually give you the number, or something similar. And if you don't know what your number is, you can always come down and just open the command, and then just type in ipconfig. Okay, and then if you just scroll up, just here you can see this. You can use this here. Okay, address. Alright, so that's how you can find that. So once you're logged in to your router, you'll need to find the firewall, and that is normally where the settings for the port forwarding are located. So if I click on firewall, you can see now I have virtual servers, port forwarding. Okay, and this is where you set it up. You can see that I've already got a Transfercoin one set up here, okay, because the port is 17170. That's what you'll need. Okay, I like to open up a range, so I've got 1710 to 17175. Okay, now when you set this up, it's not difficult. Just for an example, I'll show you. So in here, I'll just call this Transfercoin. Actually, you know what, I'll just call it TX, because that's what it's going to be from now on. Okay, and I'll just call it, that's it, just TX1 will do. So the inbound port will be the port that we need, which is 17170, and I like to put a range, so I'll put 17173, for example, if I'm going to have 3 masternodes. And then in here, just click on both. You'll have this option on yours, and in here you need to put your internal IP address. Okay, so here I've got this one here, which is what I showed you how to get in the command window, and that's, what's that one, 168, and that's 0, and that one's 9. And then down here you need to put exactly the same as up here. Okay, so 17170, and then 17173. Okay, and then you click on add virtual server. I've already got it, so I don't need to do that. You may also need to go to port triggers, okay, if you have this option, and you can see what I've done here. I've actually done the same. Okay, you've got the option where you can add the range and also the type. Okay, so that's all you need to do with port forwarding. If you have any issues, just contact your service provider. They will actually help you. Okay, so let's get back to the wallet and sort out the Masternode configuration file. Okay, so now we need to edit, well, we need to create the Masternode conf file, and we also need to edit the transfer conf file. Okay, so you'll remember that this is your IP address for your server. What we need to do is just add on the end to this the port, okay, which was 17170. Okay, so we need that there. Now, one more thing that we need to create this in the API, create the actual Masternode, is we also need the transaction ID, okay, for the 10,000 that we just sent to the wallet. Okay, so the way that we do that is we go to help and debug window and then console. And in here we need to type in Masternode outputs. Okay, now you've got two here. Now if you're not too sure which one it is, you can I'm pretty sure it's this one here, because this is the newest one. I'll just check, but it's good to make sure. So you need this, and you also need to type in the index. Okay, so I'm just going to put that here and then space, and then just have that sitting there as well. Now if you're unsure, what you can do is, if you close this and go to transactions, and then the 10,000 here, just right click on it, show transaction details. Okay, so you can see here that EC is at the start, which we've got EC over here, and then we've got 1A at the end. We've got 1A, so it is the correct one. Okay, so this is the correct transaction ID. So now we can create the Masternode. Okay, so if we click on Masternodes, you can see I've got the other one here, and it's running. All right, so all you need to do is click on create. In here you can give it whatever name you want, but I'm going to call it the same as the actual address, which was crypto is key, and then underscore VPS, and then underscore 02. Okay, so then I've just got everything in order. Now the address is this, which is your IP address for your server, and the port, which is 17170. Okay, just copy that and then click on this. That'll paste it in there. Now your private key, this is the gen key, the Masternode gen key. Okay, so copy that, put that in there. TX hash, this is what we just got, not the 0 part, just this part here. Okay, grab that, put that in here, and the output index is just this last one, just this 0. Okay, and just put that in there, and then click on OK. Okay, so nothing will be here, but it will show up in 1 second as soon as it loads and it gets created. Now you'll see over here there's now a Masternode configuration file. Okay, and that was just created right now. Okay, so now you can see it has just popped up here. Okay, and you'll see it's not in the Masternode list, and that's because we don't want to start it yet. We actually have to create the wallet on the server, on the VPS server first, before we start it from here. Okay, now just so you know, you can actually go to the Masternode conf file, and if you're not sure where that is, the best way is to come down to your start menu and just type in here shift percentage at data and then percentage again, and you can come to roaming. Okay, and then just come down to transfer, which is here. Okay, and here we have this. Okay, so I'll just close this now. So now that is the Masternode conf file created, okay, now we need to also edit the transfer conf file, which is this. Okay, so if you double click on that, I'm using Notepad to open up everything here. Okay, so if we just have a look at this, you'll see here that up here I've just put my name and then my name again with some numbers. Now you can put whatever you like in here. Okay, it can be whatever, it doesn't matter. There is no specific password or username. You can just put whatever you want in there. Okay, and whatever you want in here. Okay, just as long as you have this. Now I'll leave this in the video description so you'll be able to get that. and also all these nodes. Okay, you want this for connections. You'll see if I actually put that like that, you can see now all the nodes are all listed down there. Okay, so I'll leave all this in the description as well. Okay, so once you have that completed, so we've got the transfer conf file completed, you've input in this. Just remember that when you do open this, this will be blank, so you need to put all this in there. And then make sure that you hit file and save afterwards, okay? So that's the conf file for that. We've created the masternode conf file, which if you open it and have a look, you can see how it's referencing to this. So here is the name of the first one that I created, which is there. Okay, you can see that. And now the new one that I just created, there's the name. Okay, just got a nice transaction there. That's good. And here you can see is the IP address and the port. Okay. And you can also see here is the gen key, and here is the transaction ID. Okay, so that is all done. So now that we've done this, now what we need to do is we need to log in to the server using a program called Putty, and then we need to start creating the wallet on the VPS server. So we'll look at that in the next video. Okay, before we do anything else, now that we've got our configuration files, we can actually close the wallet. Okay, so just close it. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to get a program called Putty. Okay, so if you go to putty.org and then click on here. Now I'm on a 64-bit Windows machine, so this is the one that I downloaded and installed. Okay, so that's what you'll need to do. You'll need to download your version and then install it. Okay, so I have it installed here. So what we're going to do now is, now that we have our VPS server actually created, what we will do, by the way, just bear this in mind, that when you do purchase that VPS, it might take about 10 or 15 minutes before you receive the email that provides you with all the details. Okay, now this is an example of what you'll receive. Okay, and the things that you need to take note of is your IP address, which we'll need to log in, and also your username, which is root, and your password. Okay, so you can change these later, but for now we'll just use these ones. So now that you've installed Putty, what you need to do is open it up, and let me just pull this across a bit. Okay, so hostname IP address. So this is the IP, okay, for our VPS server. So copy that, paste that in there, and then click on open. Okay, click on yes when you get this pop up. Okay, let me just pull this across. Okay, so log in as. Okay, so this is where you put in your username, which is root. Okay, so you can type it in. Hold on, I've got caps here. Turn those off. ROOT, and then enter. Now it's asking for your password. Now the way to do this is you can copy it. Now with your left mouse button, just click once. Now with your right mouse button, click on that. Now you won't see anything, okay? It'll be blank just like this, but it's actually in there. So just hit enter on your keyboard, okay? And now we're in. So now we are logged into our server. So now what we need to do is we need to input quite a bit of data, okay? And to create the wallet. Now I'm gonna show you how I did this. I used a guide from Cyfair. So thanks to Cyfair for creating this guide. And thank you to him for actually helping me with being able to make this video possible too. So what we're going to do in this next part of the video is we're going to start inputting all the data from his guide, okay, and then we'll create the wallet. Now that we are logged into the VPS, we now need to install the wallet on the VPS. So we're going to use this guide, And the first thing that you'll need to do is you can navigate to the guide by using this link down here. I will also leave a link in the description. Okay, so let's have a look at this guide. So we have done this part. We've got the server. We have now logged in through Putty. Okay, and we've done this section. The next section is the wallet installation. Now, what we need to do is we need to input all this data into our command window, which we already have open. Okay. Now, it's very important that you follow me exactly with every line. Do not worry about what you see in here. If you see some small errors or something doesn't look right, do not worry about it. Okay, this is important. Just as long as what you see is the same as what I see, then everything is okay. All right. Now, this part of the wallet installation we will do, the final stages of this guide, I have actually customized for my own workflow to make it a bit easier. I find it easier for me, and I think you'll find it easier too, if you're not code savvy like me. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to input all this data. So we will start with this line here. So copy it, and then come over to your window and just left click, right click, and then enter. Okay, now don't worry about what this says, just keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, next one, copy, left click, right click, enter. Okay, now some of these will take a while, so don't be stressed out. They take a while. That one's done now. Some of them take a bit longer than others. Okay, left click, right click, enter. Okay, keep going down this list. Just make sure you do every single one exactly like I am doing. Okay, don't alter it. Okay, now we've got this one here. And grab that one. Left click, right click, and enter. Continue, yes, so type in Y and then enter. Okay. That's going to load for a second. Like I said, some of these will take a bit longer than others. So if some take a bit longer, I'll pause the video and then keep recording just to save you the headache of watching this entire thing process. Okay, so you can see here it looks like it's frozen, but now you can see it hasn't. So don't worry about when this happens. This will happen quite a lot. It's still going. Okay, there we go. So now we can do the next line, which is this one. Get that one in there. Left click, right click, enter. Y for yes. Okay, it's gonna keep loading some more. Like I said, there's quite a bit of information so in building this wallet. Okay, so this next line, you can see that it's got this line, but then it's got a little line under here, so you need to grab this part of it as well. Okay, so this is all one line. All right, copy it, left click, right click, enter. Okay, don't worry about this unable to locate package. Don't worry about that. Just ignore it. Like I said, follow me exactly. As long as you see this, you're okay. Okay, next one. Grab this one, left click, right click, enter. Okay, that's that done. Now we go to here, get this one, copy, left click, right click, enter. And next one, this one. Okay, left click, right click, enter. Next one, get this. Left click, right click, enter. Y for yes, enter. Okay, that's gonna load some more. I'm just gonna pause this video and I'll come back as soon as it's loaded. Okay, so that's loaded. So we need to get this next one. Copy that one, left click, right click, enter. Y for yes, then enter. Okay, next one. Now this one here, this one will take some time. Now it could take up to 5 or 10 minutes. Do not be alarmed if it looks like it's frozen. So let me just show you. Left click, right click, enter. Now I will pause the video and come back when this is finished on my side, but you can see right now that this is actually frozen. It looks frozen. It hasn't. It's working in the background, so do not be alarmed. Remember this, it will take 5 or 10 minutes, okay? So let it run and I'll pause the video, and when I come back I'll show you what it looks like when this part is completed. Okay, so that took approximately 7 minutes. Now if you have a look here, you will see this is what it should end up looking like, okay, just for your reference. Okay, so we have done this one. The next one is to do this one here, okay, so highlight it, copy it, come up here, left click, right click, enter. Okay, and the next one, copy it, left click, right click, enter. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to activate it, okay, but then we're going to stop it, and I'll tell you the reason for that in a second. Okay, so there, then hit enter again. Okay, so we're back to here. Now let's stop it. Now what we did by activating it, it actually created the transfer.conf file. Okay, now we actually need to stop this again because we need, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to edit that transfer.conf on the VPS manually through an FTP program. Okay, so we're going to do that next. Okay, so transferred stop, highlight that, left click, right click and enter. Don't worry about any of these, okay, don't worry about any of the errors here. Right, so now that we have it stopped, there's one more thing I want you to do before we actually move to the next step, and that is, if we come down to, we'll miss step 6, okay, because the configuration, this one here, we're actually going to be doing manually through the FTP. So this is the step that we need to look at now, okay, and this is basically to open up the port on the VPS, okay. So this is the part that we need to input right here, but we need to replace this part where it says your port, okay, with the transfer server port, which is 17170. So I have already done that in a notepad, and if you look here, you can see that this part is replaced with this part right here. Okay, so just the port. So you have to have a space on each side. It has to be exactly like that. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'll leave this in the description as well. Okay, I'm going to copy that. So in other words, you can copy that and just put it in a notepad and then add your port. Okay, and then I'm going to put that in here and then enter. Okay, so that's opened. So now we have actually finished with this part of the guide. For now, we will come back and do one more thing. We will start the VPS again after we've done the next stage. Okay, so in the next part of the video, I'm going to show you the FTP program that I use, and I'm going to show you how to log into that, and then I'm going to show you how to edit the transfer.conf file and also update the blockchain so that it doesn't have to do it manually and sync. Okay, so in the next part of the video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so you'll need to navigate to this URL, and once you're here, you'll need to download Filezilla client. Okay, now it's for all platforms, so download that and install it. And then once you have that installed, you should be able to find it in your menu. I have it here. Okay, so I'm going to open that up. I don't want the new version. So what we need to do here is we need to log in to our VPS using this program. Okay, so it's basically the same principle as you use Putty for, except we're doing it with FTP. So the first thing you do is come up in File, come to Site Manager, okay, and you need to create a new site. Okay, so I'm going to create one here, and I'm going to call it VPS tutorial, but you can obviously call it what you want. Don't worry about the spelling there. And so up here is where we need to put the IP for our server, okay, which is what you got in your email with all your details. Okay, so put your IP in here. Now next you need to change this to this. You need to change this to this. Anonymous will be root, okay, the same, and then you need to put your password. Okay, so let me just grab my password. These are all details that were sent to you via the email. I'll just put my password in there and then connect. Okay, so now that we've connected, you can see we have the transfer directory right here. Okay, and this is our wallet. So if we double click on that, you can see now that we have all our files, and here is a Transfercoin file, okay, that we just created. Now there are three files that we need to replace, so first we need to delete them, okay? But before we do that, I want to show you where we are going to get these files from. Now you need to get them from your wallet install directory on your computer. So if you know how to do that, then that's fine, but I'll show you how to get there anyway. So it's percentage and then app data percentage, okay, and then go to roaming, all right, and then scroll down until you get to transfer, and then open that up. Okay, let me just pull this up so it's even. So the files that we need to replace are this one here and this one. Okay, so this will update the blockchain, and then there's no need for your VPS to sync in. This is very important because if you do not do this, you will have problems connecting to the masternode, activating it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to change out this transfer.conf file in a second so we can delete this. Okay, so just right click and delete, and this one here, delete this. Okay, and this one here, delete that. Just wait for that to refresh. Okay, so now we've deleted those three files. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to replace the ones we just deleted, these two here, the blockchain, with our ones that we have in our transfer directory. Okay, so first we're going to get the block here, 001, and add it. Now this will take a while to load, to upload. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and then I'll come back when this is completed. Okay, now that is uploaded, let's now grab this file here, okay, this folder, and drag that across. The same thing, it's going to take a while to upload, okay, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay, now we have both of those files uploaded. We need to add one more file, and that is the transfer.conf file, okay. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to bring up the version that I have. Okay, so if we have a look at this, this is very similar to the one that we have for our controller wallet. Okay, the only difference is you've got a couple of ports here, and also you have the masternode address and the private key. Okay, so I will leave this in the description, an example of this. Okay, so all you need to change will be your username and your password. Okay, so you can use the same one that you used in your conf.transfer file for your wallet, for your controller wallet. Now with these ports, leave these the same as I have them. The difference is this here, the masternode address. You will need your IP here for your VPS server, okay, which you were sent in the email, and then just make sure that you put that colon and then put the port, okay, there, and then your masternode private key, which is what you used in the beginning, okay, to create your actual masternode under the masternode tab. Okay, so this is your masternode gen key. All right. Now I only have these nodes in here, but this is working for me. If you need to add more, there is a description with a big list of them, but for now this is working for me. Okay. So once you have this completed, okay, and everything is correct, we need to drop this file into here. Okay. I'm going to save changes, and I'm just going to bring this across here. This is the one. I'm just going to double check it to make sure it's the one I just edited, and it is. Okay. So I'm going to just grab it and drag it, okay, and drop it in there. Okay, now the last step from the guide that we have, which is back here, okay, the last number 8, we've already done this part, number 7, down number 8, we need to reactivate the VPS, okay, because we had it stopped while we were editing those files, so now we need to restart it again. So let me bring up the command. Okay, so all we need to do now is, don't worry about this top one because we're already there. Okay, we're already still there. You just need this one right here. Okay, that's all we need. So copy it and left click, right click, and then enter. Okay, and then enter one more time. Okay, and it says done. Okay, so now the VPS is active and it is ready for us to go back to our controller wallet and start the masternode. So that's what we'll do in the next part of this video. Okay, now that we have everything ready to go, you can now close the command window in Putty, and you can also close Filezilla. Okay, so let's start up our wallet, and it will take a little, it won't take long, but it'll take a few seconds to load. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly pause this video and then I'll come back when it's loaded. Okay, so that's loaded, and let me just drag this up here a bit. Now it needs to sync. Okay, if we go to masternode, you'll see there's actually nothing in here at the moment. Okay, so that's normal, but now you can see they've appeared. Okay, and now it says that they're not in the masternode list. Now I've actually got one. This one here is actually running. Now quite often people will freak out and think it's not actually working. Okay, but this one is on. Okay, this one is active, and it will change when it gets loaded in here. Okay, so just take that into consideration, that when you first open the wallet, it may not show that it's active, and you may not think your masternode is working. This might be when, for example, you close your wallet at night time. When you go to bed, you come in the morning, you open your wallet, and you see this right here like this. And that is because it's showing not on the masternode list, and that's because it has not been loaded in here yet. You can see there's only 11. There's still a lot more to load here, and mine's not in the list yet. Okay, so once mine is in the list, it will show up here. Now I'm going to pause the video and I'll show you what I mean. Just quickly going to show you. Now this is a couple of minutes later, and it's still not showing here. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video again. Okay, you can see now it has changed to masternode is running, and if we come to the list, here it is right here. Okay, so that took, a good 5 minutes to load. Now, with our masternode that we just set up, it's this one here. Okay, so all we need to do now is highlight it and click on start. Okay, and if everything goes right, it should say that it's started. Okay, if we come to the network here, you'll see here it is here. Okay, now this is important. This time will stay like this for, it could be anywhere between 30 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, now if this changes and you get some time showing in here after the 30 minutes or after 1 hour, around 30 minutes to 1 hour, then you know you have successfully installed your Masternode. Okay, so what I will do is I'll pause the video and I'm going to come back in approximately, well, when I see this change I'll show you, okay, and then we'll know 100% that the Masternode is active. So I'll pause the video and I'll come back in approximately 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, so this is about 45 minutes later, but it is showing time on here. Okay, so that means that we have successfully installed the Masternode on the VPS and it is now talking to our controller. Okay, our controller has started it, so everything is good. If we come back here, you'll see Masternode is running. Okay, so everything works perfectly. Just remember to follow my video exactly. If you need any further help, be sure to come and join our Slack channel. Alright, I will leave a link in the description for that. And happy masternoding!